Okay, so welcome back to Mia May's DIY. Now, what we're going to show you now is we're going to do pavers, but we're going to do it a little bit different. We're going to take this space right here and all the way back into there, with an exception of a small space across here. I haven't decided exactly yet, but I want some planter boxes here. So not all of that is going to have pavers, but I didn't want to do concrete or brick pavers. I wanted to be a little different, so we're going to do wood. And I know what you're thinking, wood rots, that's not a good idea. Well, we're going to show you just how to get around that. Okay, so here is the lumber I got. These are 2x6s. You can do any width you want, but this is what I decided to go with. Now, this is deck wood, but it is also, if you look right here, I'll flip this around. See how it says for ground contact? That means that it has been specially soaked in weather shield, not just the general that they do for decking, but this is rot resistant, mildew resistant, and so forth. But we're also going to do a second step of protection on that by using a deck sealer as well. Now, the first step, we're going to measure these out. This is 8 foot long, and you can go longer than that. This is just the only, the biggest I can go, and it fit in my van. So since we have 8 foot here, I already know that I want pavers that are, in 1 foot increments, but I'm also gonna do some that are 2 foot increments, and we'll show you why when we get to the part where we start putting them down. And that way you just have a little bit more to work with. You can even go 6-inch, do several 6-inch blocks. That way it'll be like 6 by 6 square. And I might do that too. I haven't decided, but this way you can do different patterns like they do with the regular pavers. How they have different sizes in the same color and do decoration or whatever. But so we'll probably play around with it. But so the first thing you're gonna want to do though is you're gonna want to cut your wood, and you're gonna cut it before you seal it, because you want to make sure that you seal all the edges. So when you cut it, then you're gonna have that spot that isn't sealed if you seal it beforehand. So we're gonna cut it first, that way we can get all the edges as well and add that extra layer of protection for long-lasting wood pavers. Okay, with this one we're going to do, I'm gonna cut this board into 6-inch blocks. So we're gonna go all the way down, and we're just going to mark every 6 inches all the way down, and then we're going to cut them. 4 of the boards so far, we have some 6-inch squared ones, and then I did some 1 foot, so that we can mix and match as we need to. I did have a few too that split because the board was split, so pick your wood carefully. But these might come in handy in spots that are awkward, that we need to fill in, kind of like you do with tile. But so far that's our pile, and you're just gonna do this till all your wood's cut and ready to go, and then you move on to the ceiling. And what I got, it's a stain and seal in one. So this is a good option here to go with, but of course there are many options out there to choose from. But this is I wanted the redwood tone because I have red brick on my house. It'll help, you know, blend it. Might even actually make it look like real bricks, who knows. But yeah, so that's where we're at right now. I still have all this wood to cut, and we're gonna go from there. Okay, so we have our pieces cut in 1 foot and 6 inch increments. And so now we're gonna put our waterproofing wood stain on, or sealant. And, but it's not mixed properly, and the guy wasn't there to put it on the shaker. So now, an easy quick fix for this is a wire coat hanger and a drill. And just mix it up thoroughly like that. This is important, especially with the kind I got, because it has color in the stain, because I wanted redwood. So we're just going to mix that up until it's thoroughly combined and how it's supposed to be. Okay, also, we have laid out our path here. We've marked it 30 inches wide for our walkway, and then we're going to have the seating area done as well, and the other areas are going to have mulch or other things. This will be in another video. There'll be a outdoor turtle terrarium, basically, with a turtle pond and everything here, but for the purpose of this video, we're just going to focus, and this helps because this will help you stay within your lines and not go too crooked, and it also will help you figure out your square footage of how much wood you need. Okay, so when you paint this, you're gonna want to go slow, and you're gonna want to go with the grain. Now, you're supposed to put 2 coats on, but my wood is already treated for ground contact, so we're just going to do 1 coat all the way around all of these, just as an extra barrier of protection. Yeah. You see how he's going slow and thinning it out so there's no bubbles or anything like that. And you just do this with every single one. Okay, so we've laid out our layer of weed protector, and I also sprayed weed killer, and just a general pass. I did not lay any here, and I did that because I have a ton of sand here, and I'd like to utilize that so that I don't have to, you know, purchase as much sand. So I just sprayed a bunch of weed killer, and I'll probably have to maintain that as time goes on, so use your best judgment call when it comes to this. But that's where we're at now. So now we're going to lay our sand down on top of this and level it out and go from there. Okay, so you're just going to lay your sand down and try to level out those dips and spots, and it'll also help when you're placing your blocks, which we've got our first stack right here, and we're just going to start here and work our way that way. Okay, so when you're putting them in place, you want to decide how far apart you want the gaps, and you can move them a little bit while you're getting them flush in the sand to where they're level, and figure out what your pattern is going to be. So this is going to be my pattern, and it's going to be reversed each time, going back and forth all the way down the path. So once you get that figured out, how big you want your gap and what your pattern is, you just keep going from there. Okay, next you're going to take your sand and you're going to fill in the gaps. Just like I'm showing you here. And just dump a pile over each gap, like what he's doing. Along your edges and everything. And it's gonna look like a mess, but then I'll show you here in just a second when he finishes this last. Alright, grab the broom and you're gonna gently sweep it in between the cracks. Just like he's showing you right here. Make sure you get those edges good, like what he's doing. You're going to want to get the front too, the gap in between the cement and the block. And you can also put edge in there if you want to. Just keep brushing it back and forth like what he's doing. Filling in all those gaps because that's going to stabilize it. And then they shouldn't move when you walk on them. And look how nice that's turning out. It actually kind of looks like bricks with a wood finish. And that's exactly what I wanted. I wanted it to be a little bit different and unique. And it's turning out so great. And you're just going to do this all the way down. Okay, so now you've filled in all your crevices and you have all this light sand on top. You're just going to, you know, quickly just kind of clear it off at the end. And then you will get your water hose and you're going to do a gentle spray. You don't want it to have too much power or pressure behind it, or you're going to end up knocking your sand out of place. You just want to pack down that sand with some water so it'll settle in for good. And then you're done with the walkway portion. And then you see how I put this end board here? One long board at the end. That's so that I could go ahead and finish off my walkway before I start the sitting area, or patio as it'll be used for. But and we'll continue to show you step by step. Okay, so I wanted my walkway a little bit more rugged, a little bit more spaced out, but when it comes to your patio, you want it as level as you can get it. And in this case, I want the pieces as tight together as I can get them, because it'll stabilize it a lot better when it comes to setting chairs and stuff on it. So I've laid out these pipes and I'm going to pour sand and level it out even with the tops of the pipes. Okay, so we've leveled our sand out the best we can with what we have. And now we're just going to start laying blocks down again using a pattern, which I think I pretty much decided to just rotate them 1 foot 6 inch, 1 foot 6 inch, 1 foot, and so forth and so on. So we're going to get started on that. Okay, so we've started blocking off. Want to get them as tight as you can. Obviously, you're not going to have perfect cuts when it comes to wood. So you might just want to play with the pieces. Some might be a little bit bigger than others, especially if they're end pieces, until you can get it as flush as possible. It's kind of like a puzzle. And you're just going to go all the way back and do the same thing on that side. And then fill in the middle. And there you go. Okay, so here's the last shot I'm going to give you for now. There'll be a part 2 because we still have the rest of this to fill in, but it'll be more about landscaping and bricking. But so you're just going to keep up your pattern and continue and complete your square, and then you'll have your patio area. You can do the same thing, get some loose sand, sweep it over the top of it, and that'll get in between the cracks and make it a little bit tighter. And you have yourself a nice redwood patio and walkway. Thank you for joining Mia May's DIY. See you next time.